Welcome to Old Man Gaming, the series where I nerd out on video games from my Gen X youth, starting with early platforms like Pong and the TRS-80, through today with Xbox and PlayStation. In this impromptu episode, I'm going to show you Fortnite Zero Build solo gameplay footage from June 2nd, 2023, when I returned to the game after a 5-week hiatus to play Jedi Survivor. I missed the Star Wars content for May completely, and when I came back to Fortnite, the Across the Spider-Verse content was live, and the katana mobility item was vaulted. This was the last weekend prior to the June 9th start of Chapter 4 Season 3, and this footage is from around my 10th, maybe 12th game back. Coming back to Fortnite, I decided to return to the basics. I switched to my Leia skin from A New Hope with the white gown, so I could camouflage a little bit as I concentrate on the snow area and a Zone 2 target of the brutal Bastion vault. As such, I'm going to be landing at the structure to the south of the snow region, which I think is called something like the Temple of Whispers. And I do that for its loot and its launch pad, which makes mobility in early game much easier. I kept the default controller bindings for Jedi Survivor, so it was difficult to get used to the custom bindings I use for Fortnite again. Prior to my hiatus, I prioritized and depended upon the katana for mobility, and I've really struggled with the alternatives that are in game now while I work my way back. My drop point is relatively late in the bus route, and while I'm gliding, I'm mindful of the visual audio to tell me if I'm going to have competition for this building. I like to land on the top and work my way down as I build up shield and the weapons combinations that I like. I'm able to spin around here to try to get a visual on who my competition might be. And that doesn't go particularly well. And early on here I grab this chest and this weapon laying there, and I don't get my preferred weapon of choice for early game, which is the shotgun, which I like because it helps me overcome my terrible 53-year-old aim. But now I know I've got somebody else in this building. So I begin to crouch around, and here he comes in to fly. I use that AR to get a couple shots on him as he's landing and can't defend himself, and then I take care of him early on. Now I've got the building to myself, and I can go prioritize. Really what I'm looking for is some kind of submachine gun. There's the shotgun I want. Some kind of red eye, which I've got there in the 4th slot. Some heals in the 3rd and 5th slot if I can't find mobility item early on. And there I went and found the spray weapon I prefer. And then just building up shields completely. Taking advantage of these things, these kegs, so I don't have to use my mobile healing items. And this is actually a pretty good start, because I've got the 3 weapons that I want in green rarity. I don't have great healing items, but I'm up to 75% shield. Because I've got the visual audio on, I can tell from this ground floor that there's no chests above me. So I search the rest of the building here to see if I can improve my situation. I like to try to get the first augment here while I'm still in the first building, because there's some key chests outside, and now I've got 1 key, and I could potentially improve my weapon situation with either the combinations of the key augment, which I find here. Now I've got 3 keys, and I can go improve my weapons depending upon what my luck is with these locked vault things outside. And here I can get a better red eye, which I'm going to need when I take on the NPCs outside the brutal Bastion vault. So decent opening sequence here. I'm going to use the landing pad to go to brutal Bastion, but mid-flight, there's a fight going on here that I can third party. So I get on this slightly higher ground, so I can use that to conceal myself. I take out the first guy, and and my terrible aim with the red eye here. I have to reload, put myself in some danger, and take care of this guy. So now I'm to 3 eliminations. My average is 4 typically, and we're relatively early game here still. I've got some time to try to go secure Brutal Bastion, so when the NPCs come out, I don't have competition for them. But I need to max out my shields, which I'm going to be able to do with these kegs here. And I'd really like some better heals as well. So maxed out the shields. Visual audio tells me there's a chest under here. Doesn't really help my situation. But I checked the map to see that I'm going to have some time here, given where next zone is, when it's time to take out the NPCs. There's 2 coolers here that I can prove my healing on. And I really haven't heard any other players around me yet. Much better healing situation now than I had just a few moments ago. I still don't have a mobility item, but now I'm well positioned to take out the NPCs. Now the spawn point declares itself, and I'm going to go get in position to get some right shoulder peak shots on these guys with my purple red eye. Now, I don't know if you saw it, but visual audio is telling me that there was another player on a zip line that I'm going to ignore for now. I take out the first NPC and start to fire on the other 2. I like to take out the two in white suits first, so I cut down the number of NPCs I'm taking shots from. And I take out the first 2 pretty quickly, but as I'm going for the third one, I take care of him, but this other player shows up. I have to heal myself here, and then I'm going to go for a shotgun spray weapon combo to take them out. The weird thing is, before I took my hiatus for Jedi Survivor, and I'm going to heal up here and then take the vault key card, I was terrible at doing weapon switching. What the better players will tell you to do if you watch their videos is to take a single shot with your shotgun, and then you can get better damage per second if you quickly switch to a spray weapon like I did with that SMG, and then switch back to the shotgun once you empty the magazine on the SMG. That switching gets you better damage per second than if you just stick with the shotgun. But it takes a certain amount of dexterity to make that switch, and my old man hands can't always do it. Here, I check to see if there's anybody camping on the vault entrance. There's not. But the weird thing is when I've come back here to Fortnite from Jedi Survivor, I find I'm a little bit better at the switch, and you'll see me do it a couple of times throughout the game, including that one right there. So I open the vault, and there's the best shotgun in the game in here, and the best healing item in the game in here as well. One of the changes they put in while I was gone is you can now hit the floor of this vault and get all the stuff very quickly, as opposed before you had to break like the individual stacks of bricks and so forth. But this is a much faster way of looting this vault. You can see there in visual audio there's another player nearby who's swinging away, so I need to be cognizant of the fact that I've got company, and now he's on foot nearby. So I quit looting and I switch into a combat stance with my brand new good shotgun. I'm going to take right shoulder peek here to conceal myself. And here he is, he comes around the corner. I hit him with a good opening shot, and I don't do the switch to my spray weapon that time. I just couldn't seem to manage it. And I take some hits, but there's plenty of heals laying around now. And look, he's left a mobility item. Those Spider-Man web shooters. Now, like I said, I find these swinging style mobility items very difficult to use compared to the katana. But it's what I've got in game now. I'm able to upgrade my spray weapon as well. It's what we have in game now, and it's what I'm stuck with. So after I level off my shield here, I'm in a pretty good position. I've got the best shotgun, I've got a purple red eye, I've got a purple spray item, I've got a mobility item, and I've got the best heal item. I'm going to try to max out my gold here a little bit by taking out this floor and wiping up all this gold. And now I have a strategic decision to make. Based on where we saw zone going on the map a moment ago when we checked it, there's a high building in the snow part of the map that has its advantages for sniping. If we look here, it's up in kind of the mid-north part of the map. So rather than set myself up to go for the loot island, which I've had trouble taking in my return, my skills aren't quite back enough yet that I can regularly compete for that. Instead, since I've got a decent sniper item, I'm going to go find the high ground in the zone, in this building over here, and see if that does me any good. I'm already at 5 eliminations, which is above my average. There's, what is that, 24 players left. I always set a goal to be in the top 10 and to get above my average for eliminations. As I go there, I see someone zipping down, and I'm able to take them out with that sniper rifle. They had no cover, and I had high ground I could use for cover. There's another player here I need to be wary of. So I go back to my shotgun. I hit him with the shotgun spray weapon combination. And now I've got 7 eliminations and control of the high point in the zone that I want. So what I'm thinking at this point is, what can I do to upgrade my situation here? There's nothing at those keys that are going to help me. But nearby, from landing pad distance, there's another building that has some chests I can open with the keys. And there's also a spawn point for the scout, which can give me radar of area around myself. So if I could have the scout and that high point, that's going to be ideal for sniping. So I decide to launch pad over here, and I'm going to hire the scout. So now I've got that radar. I'm going to awkwardly use, I should say, the Spider-Man mobility item to get back to this launch pad over here. And I mess it up so much because I'm just terrible with this item. I decide not to check the chests, that it's more important for me to go back and control that high point instead. So I'm going to launch pad back. And now I've improved my situation compared to what I had just maybe a minute and a half ago. Because now I've got the same gear that I had. I've got control of the same point that I had. And now I've got the scout to help me use some radar around. Now, there's another player who had the same idea, and they're beginning to swing around here as well. The thing about the swing items is they're awfully difficult to target people while they're using them. So I try to crouch so he can't hear me, and try to see just where he's going to land. You can see here in a moment, the radar goes off so I get better eyes on him. And he goes now below me. He's gonna, oh no, now he engages with another player. And I'm gonna try to snipe the 2 of them and third party it. Good strategic plan, terrible tactical execution, as my old man aim just lets me down here. There's actually pretty good cover down there, and I take on a shot. Wait for my overshield here to reheal a little bit. Now he's going to come around on me again with the swing, because now he knows I'm there. And he's going to destroy the floor and the launch pad. But now I've still got elevation on him. I don't do my switch to my spray weapon, and it costs me a little bit because I almost perish there. But I end up taking him out, and I'm rewarded with a better spray weapon and a better mobility item, in my opinion. But now I need to heal up a little bit. I took the slurp juice, which will bring back both my health and my shield, which is why that's such a good healing item. But now I've only got 1 left. My launch pad is gone. I still have my high point in zone, and I've got a better spray weapon than I had before. So still pretty good. I'd feel a little better if I had 2 splash juices here. And so the next decision I'm going to make here is related to that. Because endgame, I'm set up with a good sniper item, good mobility item, and the scout. But I'd really like to improve my health situation. So I'm going to swing my way over to that other building that has the launch pad. And I'm going to go for, there's a cache on the map right now. If I go activate that, there'll be another slurp juice in there. And I can improve my healing situation. So you can see the beacon for it in blue there at the distance. So we're going to head over there and see if we can snag that. I'm assuming at this point that because I'm not going for the island, that other people will be going for the loot island, and I'm going to get this relatively uncontested. So I swing over here, I'm going to activate it and take cover, so I'm not out in the open while the timer goes down. So strategically, you could criticize this decision. I've got one healing item, and that's perhaps good enough. And we're going to see this ends up being, again, a decent strategy, but something's going to happen here in a moment where I just have terrible tactics, and it's going to end up costing me the end of my game. There's nothing there I can really use in that set of block boxes. I'm just waiting for this timer to come off on this cache so I can snag this healing item and hopefully go back to the main zone and re-secure that building again. But that is not in my future, because someone else is going for the cache. You can see them swinging around there with visual audio. I get eyes on them as they go around the building. I've got right shoulder peek on them, but then look at this. I give it up. I miss with my spray weapon, and he takes me out. Here's my match stats. And while I'm disappointed with the result, the stats here are actually pretty good. I got double my average eliminations. I got in a decent amount of headshots. Did a lot of damage to other players. I made a tactical execution error at the end. I should have never given up that right shoulder peek going for that cache, and that ended up costing me. That's it for this episode, and I'm sure looking forward to see what happens in Season 4, Chapter 3, coming up here on June 9th. If you enjoyed what you just saw, please help out the channel with a like and subscribe, and thanks so much for watching.